So I just beat Fantasy Life I, the girl who steals time, at around 20 to 25 hours. The reason why my time is so varying is because the main campaign is arguably a prelude for the end game, of which I am still working on. If I had to fit Fantasy Life into a box, I would say it's Genshin Impact but without aggressive monetization or time-gated content. Similar to Genshin, you will have to grind through the main story to unlock content for co-op, whether it be new worlds to explore, the dungeon, or once you beat the main game, enemies can start dropping endgame recipes. But Fantasy Life's gameplay is far more varied than the average game, because there's 15 different classes, which we'll get into momentarily. First, let's talk about the main game loop. As mentioned, progressing through the main story will unlock more areas you can explore, whether it be the massive open world map or the smaller, more intricate maps. Each of these areas will have their own specific enemies and materials to collect. But as you're exploring the open world, you'll gain XP for the specific biome that you're in, which can then be spent on the tower in order to increase the level cap of everything in that biome. But because of this game's job system, this goes beyond simple combat scaling. Enemies won't be the only thing leveled up, trees and ore will also be leveled up. In short, these 15 classes can be broken up into 3 different categories: combat, gathering, and crafting, with each class in each category sharing similar gameplay. And what's really impressive to me about this game is how all of these classes are intricately interwoven. Let's take for example the combat, which arguably is the most fleshed out aspect of the game. So you're fighting enemies, but you need better gear. You can usually find loot off of enemies, cool. Or you could get into the crafting, which is how you get the best gear in the game. You're forging up gear, but you need ore. So you gotta go out of your way to use the mining class to gather the ore and forge it up. But the late game armor requires certain cloths, which means that you need to go out of your way fighting spiders for silk or just gathering plants. All the while, if you want to end up jumping into the dungeon, it has random objectives to complete and isn't always focused on combat. The requirement to beat a floor might be to get all of the fish, which means that you have to have a high fishing level. And even when you beat the main boss of the dungeon, you might not get a new weapon, you might get a new paintbrush. That's a thing. The value of all of the classes is important in this game. And because of that, it makes grinding them feel gratifying. This is where Fantasy Life genuinely becomes dangerous, because this game is addicting and has nothing stopping you from grinding as much as you want. I'm not gonna say that this game is gonna click for everybody, but if you love grindy games, oh my god, there is so much to do in this game, because all of the 15 classes have their own skill trees and have their own ranks to increase, which require specific quests. It might range from finding a specific fish in a specific area or fighting enemies on a tropical island. All the while, the open world, the tiny islands, and the dungeon can be played with 4-player co-op. This is kind of the big selling point for me, because it makes it feel like leveling up classes has more value to me. If it was single player, I probably wouldn't even bother with the crafting. But knowing that I can craft gear that I can ultimately give to my friends, yeah, that's big incentive to rank up my blacksmith. Story. I'm not gonna pretend that I know what the story is in this game. The production value is great, the story is funny, but if I'm being perfectly honest, I skipped it. I bought this game for the co-op and I was able to unlock the co-op in about 40 to 50 minutes, skipping everything in the story and speed running through it as quick as possible. As for beating the main campaign to unlock the endgame content, you're gonna have to have roughly all of your classes at level 40, because the main story requires you to utilize all of the classes to craft some endgame stuff that ultimately gets you into the final dungeon. But okay, let's take a step back and look at this game critically for a moment. If you're expecting the gameplay to evolve in a meaningful way, it won't. The grind is simply a means to an end. You are grinding numbers so that you can grind higher numbers. That said, for this type of game, it's extremely rewarding, especially with the open world. Because as you level up the towers, the enemies will slowly end up evolving into boss enemies that drop some of the rarest materials in the game. The dungeon, on the other hand, is extremely efficient for finding recipes for crafting. But unfortunately, the dungeon does get extremely repetitive very quickly. And without a proper option for kicking random players that go AFK or just speedrun the game, it actually became kind of annoying for me, which is why I spend most of my time exploring the overworld. So if that kind of grind is appealing to you, then yes, I would recommend this game. A lot of people, myself included, look at the price tag and go, damn, this is a AAA priced game. Yes, it is. And you know what? it's worth it. Fantasy Life I is a triumph of a video game and a masterclass in execution. It is so impressive to me how mechanically intertwined all of the classes are. And while there are very, very minor things that I would nitpick in this game, the overall product is superb and already has some planned free DLC. Let's also not undermine the fact that this game has both cross-play and cross-save.